Tesla just reported earnings and had its earnings call, and this is everything that you need to know about it. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBit Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. I really hope that you learned something new, and if you do, please consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing if you feel like we earned it. With that being said, Tesla is up 12.1% after market hours. What a surprise. I mean, I'm a huge Elon fan. I honestly was not expecting this at all. I always feel like the world is against Elon and everything it is that he's doing. It's been a rough year for Tesla itself, right? Love the guy or hate the guy. I mean, you have to admit, he's putting in the effort, he's putting in the work, but it's been a tough 2024, right? From the overall start to what we hit lows of, to then what we recovered to, and then selling off after the robo-taxi event. Finally, we are now moving back up. Previous resistance right around 263, but let's talk about some of the details. So again, Tesla reported earnings today, and according to investing.com, it reported an earnings per share of 72 cents per share with the expectation of 60. So it exceeded Wall Street's expectation. That's good. Revenue came in lower than what was expected. As you guys can see, it had an expectation of 25.4 billion. It came in at 25.18 billion. So again, not meeting Wall Street's expectation. Well, why did it gap up so much? Well, let's get into the details. Tesla reported mixed third quarter results after the bell on Wednesday, but the stock jumped in after hours trading as investors cheered the earnings beat, which again, we talked about it, the EPS, higher gross margins. So again, looking at the actual balance sheet and seeing what it is that they actually brought in, and news that Tesla's cheaper EV is on track for production next year. So for those that even tuned on into the robo-taxi event, he kind of displayed or showcased the idea of a cheaper than $30,000 or less than a $30,000 vehicle should be available relatively pretty soon. And again, that obviously should hopefully act as a positive catalyst for more demand, more volume when it comes down to Tesla. So CEO Elon Musk also added that on the earnings call, Tesla's volume growth could be 20 to 30% next year. So he thinks that there could be possible much higher demand for this lower end vehicle. I mean, kind of ask yourself where most of the market is at. Any vehicle under 30,000 is extremely cheap in the world that we live in today. It's very affordable, very inexpensive, especially with interest rates coming down. Can that be the perfect recipe for a very successful year for Tesla? A question to ask yourself. Investors, according to today's reaction, seem to believe so. For the quarter, Tesla reported a revenue of 25.18 billion versus the expectation of 25.4 billion per Bloomberg, right? We already talked about all of that. We talked about the earnings per share. The one thing that I quickly wanted to highlight is something that is not actually even showcased here during the earnings call, and please feel free to look into it. According to Peter Thiel, is again a really famous investor, would always suggest and kind of hint on to Elon of like, well, when are you going to make a flying car? And Elon on this earnings call hinted that, okay, supposedly the Roadster or some vehicle coming soon could potentially be a flying car. So again, not only do they have a lower end vehicle, not only does he have Starlink, not only does he have SpaceX, not only does he have Optimus robot, the full autonomous vehicle, right? What is it called? The Robo-Bus. But then now he is adding possibly the Roadster and also a Roadster that could potentially fly in the up and coming future. So again, it's just Elon doing Elon things. Love him or hate him. I could see why people can hate him, right? Yeah, he's doing super outlandish thing where it doesn't seem realistic. But look at the market today. And that's the way that I kind of want to end today's video. If you really think about what Elon's goal was when he first started this, is he wanted to make the world aware of the demand and how popular EV vehicles could be. I mean, back then you really had kind of like the Priuses, right? They were very ugly and low demand vehicles. No one wanted them. Now look at the world that we live in today. He's completely disrupted the marketplace, where now every major manufacturer has some form of EV powered or EV vehicle on the road. And there's even laws being put into place by 2030 or 2035 that all vehicles must be EV. He has completely, agree or disagree, changed this world. And I think that's why I just, does he set very high expectations within very short periods of time for himself? Yes. Does he always deliver? Not in that timeline, but does he always deliver eventually? Yes, and I get it that he's very frustrating. I get it he's very controversial. He has a very outlandish personality. But man, how fortunate are we to live among someone that could go down in history as one of the most influential people to have ever lived. Again, that's just me, I guess, boosting Elon's ego. But again, there's no question with Tesla stock being up 12% tomorrow, I want to see if the momentum continues tomorrow during pre-market and during when the market opens. So if you're part of my LPP team during tomorrow's live trading session, we're going to be keeping a very close eye, because if we see any signs of a retracement, any signs of a resistance, I'm going to be ready to short it. If we see continuous indication of an uptrend pattern, then again, I wouldn't mind going long, but it's extremely overbought. And just like the slingshot effect, what goes up normally must come down. So I'm very excited to share that experience with you guys. I'll see you tomorrow at market open for our live trading session. And whenever it is that you feel like you're ready to tune on in, it's the second link in the description down below. I hope that you learned something new, and if you did, please consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing if you feel like we earned it. Take care, team.